Welcome to the Traditional Outdoorsman. My name is Brian Clark, and today I want to introduce you to making your own hair jigs. This is really a very easy craft to get into. Nothing really complicated. You don't need a lot of tools, and quite honestly, it's very addicting. It's addicting, I say, because after I create a bait, I really get jonesed up to go out and take it fishing and see if it'll produce anything, if it really works. And that's pretty exciting. Today our finished product is going to end up looking like that jig right there. Okay, and I'll show you how I made that. I'm going to start out with a 1/8 Kalen's round ball hair jig. And these jigs come with a collar on them. I cut that off because I don't want the collar on there. You could keep the collar on there if you wanted. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself some Sally Hansen's. This is fingernail hardener. You'll be hard pressed to find something that works better than this for your jigs, believe it or not. All I'm going to do is put a little bit there on the shank of the hook. Does not take much at all. I'm using that just to attach my line to the jig so my jig doesn't travel or spin around on the hook. Alright, and what I'm going to do is start my thread on the shank of the hook like that, and I'm going to put a layer down to give myself a base to tie to. And I got the Sally Hansen's nail hardener all the way down to just about even with the hook point. Let the bobbin dangle like that. You can see I'm just there past the hook point. At this point I'm going to take my scissors, cut the tag end off. Move that out of the way. And now I'm going to bring the thread back up towards the head of the jig. Alright, just like that. Very easy. Alright, now first thing I'm going to put on there is a piece of maribou. The maribou that I'm using is an orange. It's an Orvis maribou. I picked it up here at a local fly fishing shop. I don't fly fish, but they have a lot of materials there that you could use for creating a jig. Alright, so I want my tail, not too much maribou, but I want the maribou to come out the back of the jig, about that far. Alright, so I'm going to pinch it off right there. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut right there. So now what I got is just that much of the maribou. I'm going to lay it there right there on the jig. A couple loose wraps, okay, just to get the maribou to stay on the shank. Alright, and then kind of organize it on there so it's where I want it. And then I tie it down, some tighter wraps. Down as far as I want to go there, about even with the hook point. And I'm going to come up, just capture the rest of that maribou. Alright, so just like that. Alright. The next material I'm going to get is some chenille. This is a yellow chenille. Picked it up at the same fly shop. See that there? That's the chenille I'm going to use. This is fluorescent yellow. And you can cut off pieces that you want once you get really good at this. I'm new. I don't consider myself really good at it, so I use the whole bundle. And I just very carefully just try to put enough chenille on there without tangling myself into a complete mess, which is hard to do. But somehow I manage. All right, and I'm just going to run the thread down to just above the maribou, okay, and then back up towards the head. That attaches the chenille to the shank of the hook. Now I'm going to wrap the chenille around, nice tight wraps. All right, just like so. Make sure you don't have any gaps. Keep the chenille real tight. And the last wrap up near your head of your jig is going to be a little thicker because you're going to almost double it up right there. Okay, that's right about there. Now I'm going to take the bobbin underneath, capture the chenille up there behind the head. I'm going to do that 2 times behind the chenille, and now 3 wraps in front of the chenille, right behind the head. All right, I take my scissors and I'm going to cut the chenille. I put close to the head right there. Do not cut the thread. You don't want to do that. Okay, so now I'm done with the chenille. Done with the scissors for now. And I need to get my whip finishing tool. This is a whip finishing tool, and it puts the knot up here behind the jig head. This takes practice. This is a little bit of a tricky tool to use. Put enough thread out that I can capture the thread just the way I want. Go up here, make my figure 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to release the thread off the back, bring it up tight, pull her snug, grab my scissors, and voila, jig is finished. At this point you can put some cement up here or Sally Hansen's to lock in your knot. I've never done that. Been tying jigs for a few weeks now and fishing with them all the time. I'll be honest with you, I've never had a jig fall apart. I do fish with a lot of jigs and bring them home, but I fish with a lot of jigs and lose them in trees and the rocks. Yes, some of the trees are in the water actually. Fish a lot of trees, but I do lose them in trees. You miss a hook set or whatever and they end up in a tree behind you and you can't get to them. So that's how easy it is. I got 2 exactly the same jig now. So hopefully you learned something here. My intention is to once a week to tie a new kind of jig, show you guys all the different styles of jigs that I tie. I don't tie a whole lot of different styles, but I change colors. I don't use a heck of a lot of different colors. Some are real flashy, some are naturally colored, some are bait fish, and then your standard whites and chartreuses, some blacks. I have some really little jigs that I tie for bluegills and for green sunfish. You'll see they are a challenge. To work on a small hook is challenging. I can do this. I don't think I could tie flies for trout. A little bit too small for me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet and you enjoy the show, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share it with your friends, and make sure you come back and see what kind of jig I'm tying next week. Find out what I'm fishing for this weekend. It's our beginning of spring gobbler season this weekend. I don't have any gobblers located. I'm not sure I'm going to go gobbler hunting yet or not. There's not a lot in my area of Pennsylvania, so I may just go fishing. But you never know. I could end up going out for an hour and make a silly video of me making a fool of myself, trying for a gobbler that's probably not there, and then go fishing afterwards and make a video fishing. So anyway, enjoy hearing from you guys. If you have a comment, make sure you put it in the bottom below the video here. I respond to all the comments, all the questions. And like I always say, we're all on the same team. I'll see you next time.